Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are up and at it again one more time. Uh, just to kind of notify you guys that haven't gotten out yet or got up yet. It's cold outside. I know y'all probably noticed by now, I do not like cold weather. I know that there are people who do, but me and cold are not cousins. I cannot take this cold weather. And in fact, I can't take no cold. I just don't like cold. So me and cold weather or coolness is not kinfolk. I just thought I'd share that with you this morning because there's probably a lot of you out there just like me. I don't like this cold weather. But anyhow, it's a part of life, and life has its seasons. So you got to take the good seasons or the comfortable seasons along with the ones that's uncomfortable, for you. Because some people, they don't like the heat. I don't like too much of it, but I just don't like cold. I just don't. And I laugh at myself a lot because of some of the things that go through my mind, and then I'm reactionary to it. So I think we all can, I think we believe we all are like that, I don't too much utilize that, utilizing the word think, because one of my professors had told us back when I was in undergraduate school, he would say, when you're in a profession, you want to choose your words carefully, especially a profession that you're going into and people are trusting what you say. And I believe that is that's with all of us. So I had that word on my mind of think, and I asked about it one night. We was having a conversation in class, and I said that, and so he asked, why do you feel that way about the word think? And I said, I don't like utilizing it too much because when you're communicating, and at the time I was a legal advocate doing my legal advocate work, and I want the clients to feel as though they're speaking with someone who knows what they're talking about. And when I say think, I feel like it's telling that other person I'm unsure about what I'm talking about our discussion, or the information that I am transferring to them. And so his response was, sound good, but what are you going to put in the place of it? And I said, I believe. So I say that a lot. I believe that, or to the best of my knowledge, because it makes the receptor of what you are saying, it makes them more comfortable. And it's not just in, a professional realm. It's in our everyday conversations with people, because when you're speaking to people, you want to feel like that person is ready to receive. You want to believe that person is ready to receive what it is that you are about to share. So that's why I'm very cautious with words, but some words are very dear to my heart in the way that I transfer them into the minds of someone else. So sometimes when you see where I'll stop and I'll close my eyes because I'm trying to get to better verbiage in what I'm sharing when I get up in the mornings. But I do that in conversations all the time because I believe that what I have to say to you is very important. If I am serious about inspiring and encouraging you to go to that next level. And sometimes things may sound rhetorical, but when you step back and look at what you are saying and how life operates. Life itself repeats itself through our children, through our lineage, because foundations, they never go away, because that's what you built up on. That's what your life is built up on. So when you are sharing in a conversation, and it's ongoing conversations, that person who is pushing out that information, they're so in tune to what it is that they are sharing. They want to make sure that you get it. And sometimes it does sound rhetorical, but really it's not. It's because you're always adding something to whatever it is that you are saying. And that is in any conversation. It's just like having children. Your children, as they grow up, some things you do have to say to them more than one time, especially when they start transitioning from, through different time periods. Ages 1 through 12, your communication is where you're more comfortable with it. The things that you share, you don't have to say things over and over again. But when you start getting into that, crossing over into those teenage years, your conversation becomes more bold, because in teenage years is their hardest years, because that's where all of their peer pressure starts coming in. And so you have to speak and you have to communicate with them differently, because now they're getting into that adolescent stage, and they're 13 through 18, and they believe in their mind, y'all, that they are grown. You know they're not. I know they're not. But it does make you have to. That's why you have to communicate differently with them. And so it's automatically going to sound rhetorical to them, because they don't want to hear what you're saying anyways. And what you are saying is just, this is how it sounds to them when you're saying it. Womp, womp, womp. See, they don't, because they're not really hearing what you're saying. They're hearing that Charlie Brown imitation of words. But by the time that they hit 21, they realize, oh, Mom and Dad didn't know what they were talking about. Okay. And they'll come back and tell you. But right now, those of you who have adolescent children in your home, just know this. It's not you. It's them who are not paying attention to what you are saying to try to help them to get to the better side of life. But they'll get there, because by the time they're 21, they'll realize everything that you said, because they're going to start experiencing some things in life that they're going to go back, like I said yesterday, into that Pandora box, and they're going to have to pull out some of what you said. So don't get discouraged. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because I've been hearing that through various conversations. And, I work with college students. And when you're working with the students, you also work with the parents. Periodically, they come in. But I just wanted to share that this morning, because for one thing, it was on my heart to share after I got off on yesterday. I experienced something on yesterday, and it really was weighing in. I said, I want to share it with my audience. I want to share that with them tomorrow, because sometimes young people can make their parents cry, especially mothers. And to see that, it hurts your heart. But you have to know that it's not you. It's that our children can sometimes get beside themselves. And sometimes your best tool is silence. Because guess what? Once they hit 16, everything you could teach them, you done already taught them. Now you got to sit back and watch them. Because when you start going back and forth with them, see, you're just giving them energy for rebellion. So silence is golden. And those of us who have had teenagers or have teenagers now, we know that. And those who are going through it right now are learning that. But silence is golden. Sometimes all you can do is pray and ask God to give you strength. Something my late husband said that he had to do with his kids. Well, I mean, not with his kids, his mom did with him. He said, I got so beside myself. My mom looked me in my eyes and told me, you know what? God gave you to me, but I'm giving you back to God. And whatever God does with you, I pray that I'm able to withstand it. And he said he never forgot that. He walked away, but he never forgot that. What his mom said to him. And sometimes you have to look your children in the eye and you have to tell them, and you have to really mean them. Mean that. God gave you to me, but he loaned you to me. But I'm giving you back to him because I've done everything that I could do. Everything I could teach you, I have taught you. So I'm going to give you back to God. And whatever he does, I pray to God that he gives me strength to withstand it. I don't know who needs that this morning, but I know it's needed. Because when you look at a mother and her daughter is treating her as if she don't know what she's talking about, snapping at her. And I know a lot of us say, oh, that couldn't be me. But let me tell you something. Every parent at some point that has had teenagers, that is a difficult age group because they believe they know it all, but they don't. But you have to take care of you and your mental, and you pray for them, and you ask God to give you the strength to withstand whatever he does. And you go silent. If you can help them with something, help them with it. But do not destroy yourself trying to save them. And that's not up for debate. That is real. And again, I'm sharing it because I see it a lot at the school where I work at with students. And I know it's real. And we all have experienced it as parents. So I wanted to get that out the way first this morning. And then I wanted to kind of share something relative to that a friend of mine sent me a message, because I always use this word, this term of dead on arrival. Because some things are just dead on arrival. You know, it's just some things you don't want to give it no fuel. You don't want to feed it no kind of way. So when you begin to meditate or think on that thing, you already know that conversation, you're not going to take that any further. You're not going to allow that to be interjected into your mindset, because you know what? This thing is so precious. You can't put everything up there. You can't ever let everything manifest up here for long periods of time. You know why? Because it will exhaust you. So in this conversation that we're going to have this morning, talking on this subject of dead on arrival, listen here. She sent me an example, a message, and it says, DOA, is an example of semantic satiation. What happens when you say a word so much it loses meaning? Okay? Satiation. That's the word she sent me. Semantic satiation. What means, what happens when you say a word so much it loses meaning. And you know what? I thought about that. And my friend, her name is Janice, and she's forever sharing things with me, and I'm very grateful for it. And so she knows that I utilize that word, that term of dead on arrival a lot. And look here, when I thought about what she said, that's what I'm saying, and not really realizing it when I use it, that in my mind, I'm saying, hey, I don't have time for that. I can't allow that to manifest in my brain too long, because some things you putting up there that you know that thing is going to weaken you. So emotions, words bring about emotions, okay? It deals with our feelings and how we're going to operate throughout the day. So that's why in my mind, and sometimes I don't speak it out loudly, but in my mind, I'm like, that's dead on arrival. I'm not even going to mess with that. I'm not going to even touch that. I'm not going to even let that get in my spirit. I shared with you guys on yesterday about, how we look at learning ourselves, because it helps us to invite ourselves, and then we begin to sustain ourselves. See, that's part of what happens, what you're doing when you say that something is dead on arrival. You are trying to sustain yourself in a positive mindset. You're not allowing someone else to take your strength and your energy from you. In other words, if you want to grow, some things they should manifest in your life long. Some things some people, you cannot allow them to stay there too long, because guess what? I'm going to share something this morning, piggybacking off of that dead on arrival. Listen to me closely. If you think positive, opportunities will come. If you think positive, opportunities will come. See, because it goes right back to what I was saying. If you always speaking negative, if you always accepting everything into your mental circle, your mental attainment, don't you know you will begin to think on those things and not the good things that's going to build up in your life, build your life up. You have to think positive things, because positive things will help for some opportunities. It will open up opportunities in your life, because you think more clearly when you think positive. See, some people, you could give them $1 million. They'll never say a positive word. When you see them coming, your first response is, oh Lord. Come on now, let's be honest. Because they're so negative. Everything they're going to drop on you is like they dropping a bomb. Something that all it does is just take you out of your happiness. Take you out of your joy. Take you out of just things that you didn't even meant for that to be a part of your agenda of the day. But when you don't stop people, they'll bring anything into your life, dump it in there, and leave. That's kind of like an example of you got a garbage can and your neighbor have a garbage can. But they take their garbage can, dump their trash into your garbage can, and go back home. What kind of sense that make? Okay, let me break that down. It's just like an opportunity. You let somebody come over there and dump their trash in your mind and leave it there. See, that is what's happening to so many of our young people today. Thought I wasn't going to go back there. They're allowing, see, you have given them a foundation. You have given them pearls and diamonds and things like this. I'm talking about things of meaning, things of value, right? But they allow people in their same age group to tell them how they should be conducting their life. So they dump their trash in their mind. And now it's overcrowding all of the positive information that you have given them to help them make it through life. But don't worry. Just like it did with us, it's going to do with them too. They're going to come to a point where they have to say, you were right. And some things have to be dead on arrival. Some things cannot be manifested in your mind. Some things you got to step back, take a look at it, make a plan to not do that no more. To not accept that no more, whatever it is. I remember one day going to court for a client of mine was getting a protective order. So we was having a hearing for the protective order. And so what happened was, she said, I was so nervous. And I looked at her and I said, you probably still are. But let's have a brief conversation before we go in there. Because the last thing that you can do is let your offender know how afraid you are. Because what they're going to do is come back and they're going to use another tactic to even make you violate this protective order that you're about to get, to receive on today. So here's the thing. You look forward. You try not to look at him as much as possible and stay focused on your end goal. What was I saying to her? Some things are just dead on arrival, but I couldn't talk to her like that because I'm in a professional setting and that's just not the terminology, the space for that terminology, okay? So we have to look at what arena we're in. So when, again, it goes back to when you are sharing information, be cautious with your wording. Because to me, I'm thinking whatever he has to say is dead on arrival. I want to believe that in my mind, that the court system is going to listen more and believe more in what she is sharing versus what he's sharing. Because when people are doing things to you to try to hurt you and have done, and at this point, my clients have already went through the abuse. And I did that for 10 years. Fighting for rights of women. And I don't regret 1 second of it. Because when you have to be that voice, you got to know that you know what you're talking about. Because when it's your time to speak, those people are trying to hear and listen to. This is what the judge is doing. That professional side of you in the information that you are sharing that's going to strengthen your client's case. So you can't be playing with that. It's very important that words come out correctly and documentation is written correctly. Because if it's not, you could lose that case. You could cause that case to be lost. And as a legal advocate, my words were so important. And sometimes before that case even came up, I knew we were going to be on docket the next day. I would literally rehearse it, what I was going to say, even though it wasn't going to come out exactly that way, because you don't know what questions you're going to be faced with. But I wanted to make sure that I personally had a clear pathway of communicating something on behalf of my client that was going to show the courts, both attorneys as well as the judge, that I knew what I was talking about. And that client would be granted that protection order. See, that's why, to me, wording is so important. Stop just saying anything just because that's the thing to say. Think about what it is that you are trying to say, your message that you are trying to get across, attempting to get across. Because otherwise, it's dead on arrival. I've heard attorneys use that same terminology in court. And most of the time, it was the higher profile cases where there was a sexual assault, which was an aggravated assault, which means that there was physical abuse along with it. There was a physical assault where it was aggravated and weapons were used. So I'm just kind of giving you examples this morning as I go through. You might say, well, how's that inspiring? Well, here's my ultimate goal on that. There are people out there who have experienced in all walks of life some point where everything was not peachy keen in their lives, okay? Everything just wasn't great in their lives. And we all have been in some situations at some times where we've received some things into our lives that was very uncomfortable and very hurtful. And how is that inspiring to know that I am speaking on such a subject as to say, I'm proud that I have saw so many move from that point in their lives that may be listening to me on this morning that will never accept that behavior in their lives anymore. Also, what does it do? To inspire you to tell your story, to share your story with somebody else, to know that it's all right to talk about stuff that's been uncomfortable in your life. But most of all, to remind you that you have overcome something in your life that you should be excited about, that you've overcome it. And because you overcame it, guess what? You know if that ever arose in your life again, it would be dead on arrival. You wouldn't take it. You wouldn't tolerate it. Because you've been there before. You will never go back again. Our life experiences are so important. And I don't know why, but a lot of people, because you discuss something that they feel should not be discussed, that's just you as one individual. But everybody have been through something. And that's why none of us have a right to sit back and criticize someone who went through some situations in their life that you didn't go through. But you got the nerve to sit back and criticize? You never walked that road. You never had to figure out that type of a pathway in life. And so you say, well, that's just going a little bit overboard. No, because everything happens in life for a reason. Remember yesterday, I was talking about necessary. See, those who survive that will never forget that. And I have had clients that I've ran into and say, you know what? But Miss Long, because they knew me by Miss Long when I did that work. Miss Long, I mean, like, really, if I hadn't went through that, I would probably have continued to accept that behavior in my life. And you know what? What they're basically saying, it was necessary for me to find out at an early age that that was unacceptable behavior so that I could get to the better part of life. How do you think that, how do you see people writing books all the time? And some people write the books on the same subjects, they just share it differently. It's the same thing in speaking to people. Somebody else can talk on this same subject title. They just going to present it differently. And that's okay. Because words are important. What people have to say is important. That goes for me, that goes for you, and many others. Because one way or the other, what you say is going to impact another individual's life. Oh, yes, it is. So that's why you have to be careful how you transfer information. I used that word on yesterday, impact. That word is so important. You know why? Because when you see that word is saying, I am doing something. It's sending that message. Impact. I am doing something to help you, to aid you in transpiring something in your life. To do something different, to look for better, to look for greater, to get a better understanding. See, nobody knows everything, but you can borrow something from somebody else all the time. I do it. You do it. We all do it. We borrow some of our teachings from the past when we were reared from our parents. We go back and get that and utilize it with our children and our grandchildren. Being inspired, being encouraged means hearing the comfortable conversations as well as the uncomfortable conversations. There's not one side to anything. To us, ourselves, there's more than one side to us. There's a side of us that we present to the public, and there's a side of us that we know when we are not around anyone else. That's the side of us that people don't see. So there's more than one side to everything in life. Even the way we think. Nobody's always happy. None of us got it all together. Nobody. I don't care who. You can have everything in the world. The money, the cars, the houses, the whatever. Riches. And you can still be lonely. You can still be lonely. But you get out in the public and you present a face that make others feel like you got it all together. And you go home and you break down. And that's the other side of you. It's the same thing in my conversations when I get up in the mornings with you. Every conversation is not going to be a get up and run conversation. Some things is a sit down, settle down, and listen conversation. But it's all, when you leave the platform, it's all about leaving something behind that you can think about and share with someone else. And it might not be shared the same way that I shared it. But I just pray that I leave something with you as you go throughout your day that you can say, you know what, this is what I got out of it. And I'm going to share that with someone else that I might run into, even if it's not that same day. It's about fueling you through words, fueling you through a conversation, fueling you through a platform that belongs to all of us. Because we get to listen, not just to listen, but I hear back from you when you respond to me on the site, on this platform, and sometimes through a phone call. But listen here, be cautious with how you share your wording, how you utilize your wording, and how you receive it. Because how receptive you are to something is going to determine how often people are going to continue to bring that in your life. Because people get, just like your children get comfortable with you, these teenagers, that's how people get comfortable with you. They sometimes feel like they can come and they can put their garbage in your brain and walk away as if they've done nothing until they get ready to bring some more garbage back and empty it in your brain. That's their garbage can. That's their trash. That's their negativity. That's their doubt. All that stuff that people want to dump into your garbage can. This the most precious computer that you have. I don't care how many times you purchase a computer. This is of such value. This computer here got so much in it that'll never go away. This memory, it'll never go away. Because over time, listen to me closely, over time, this right here has held so much information that if you told someone everything that was up in there, it'll blow their mind. It's a powerful computer here. You can't go to Best Buy and buy that. You can't purchase this computer at Walmart and Target and all these other places that we go. Because this is precious. Because this is what God gave you. Don't you let nobody else destroy that. Don't feel uncomfortable about what you have to say. Just as long as you know that you are speaking truth. You got to know that. And you got to know, just like with your kids and other people in your life that you love, if you never tell a person the truth, if you never share the hard conversations with a person, ask yourself this question. Do you really love that person? Because if your conversation is always conversation of happy, happy, joy, joy, it's never conversations of We got to sit down and have a real talk. You might need to think about that relationship, because guess what? I don't want it and you don't want it. Cheerleaders in your life all the time are dangerous. You need some coaches. You can't have all cheerleaders in your life. You got to have some coaches sometimes. Some coaches will tell you, hey, sit down. Sit down. Get back on that bench. You messing up. That's what a coach will tell you. A cheerleader, they will know you wrong. They will know you about to destroy yourself, and they won't even tell you. A yes person is the most dangerous person you can have in your life. Oh, yes, they are. Because they never tell you where you're going wrong. They never tell you. And once you destroy yourself, everybody got something to say. Everybody. People talk about Whitney Houston. But you know what? Them yes people, they wasn't talking because they was getting everything that they wanted. They wasn't even worried about her pain and what she was going through. She didn't have no coaches. And when coaches tried to come into her life, like her mom, like her dad, when they tried to come into her life, she rejected them because she had so many cheerleaders who would say, oh, it's okay. And they began to criticize her coaches instead of saying, no, they're telling you the truth. This is going to destroy you if you keep doing this. And we watched a person at her highest plateau in life, in music and entertainment, go down to nothing. And people sat back and criticized her. The same people who was cheering her on. It is dangerous. It is so dangerous. And I tell young people this all the time. To want only cheerleaders in your life. Yes, people in your life. You need coaches. And if you think about it, when you, listen to me closely, when you sat down and really did an evaluation on your life, on your past up to this point, you know who you respect the most? The coaches. Those people that sat you down and say, wait a minute, you going too far. You doing too much. Even our little children. I'm not going down there arguing with that teacher behind you. I'm going to sit here and get on you right now. I'm about to correct you at home right now. Because one thing about it, we all know our children. We all know our grandchildren. They don't need you to be a cheerleader. They need us to be coaches. And they need us to speak truth into their lives. That's what they need, and that's what we need as adults. So when they come in there and start trying to lie to you and make you feel like those instructors then did all of these things to them and pour them, that should be dead on arrival. You don't let that get no further than it need to. You listen to what they have to say, but you got to remember one thing. You know your children. You know you. And I'm not just talking about children. I'm talking grown folk do that too. Every conversation can't be a cheerful conversation. You got to have conversations where you get to the deep root of things. Because a person, if they're never corrected, will continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. Because all these cheerleaders, no matter what they say, are giving them a yes. And they know that's going to destroy them. So, before I get off this morning. I just wanted to let you know, share that with you. I kind of went a little bit in different directions this morning, but I share what's on my heart. I share my thought days. That's what I call them, my thought days. And that was the thought that came in my mind today, carried over from yesterday to share with you all. You can't always accept and receive everything people try to pour into your life. But you got to accept that every conversation is not going to sound the same way every day. It's not for you. It's not for me. Nobody who rise up in the morning and come in contact with other individuals will always say things in the same manner every day. But it can have the same meaning that carried over from other times that you had those conversations. Words of inspiration. I've been inspired in so many ways. I'm inspired just by getting up in the morning and having the opportunity to speak to you in the morning and to leave this video up to where others can see it at some point. That means a lot to me. Your support of me and what I'm doing, and I don't take it for granted. I really don't. It's dear to my heart that people care enough about what I'm saying to listen to me. And know this, it's not just about me. It's about us overall getting to that next level in life that we can be better. We're going to be greater on the other side. I believe that. And whatever we're walking in right now, we're going to be greater on the other side. And we're going to slow down sometimes. We're going to speed up sometimes. We're going to have those conversations that people enjoy sometimes. And we're going to have those conversations that people don't enjoy. But we still got to have them. Because inspiring, encouraging happens in more than just one way. It really does. Really does. So, before I get off, I want to leave this with you. Remember this as you go through today. If you think positive, opportunities will come. And how do you do that? Some things, before you allow them to get into your mind, guess what? Guess what? Get in that mindset that this here, this going to be dead on arrival. Because I'm not going to even entertain that. I will not entertain that. You tell yourself that. And don't worry about somebody getting upset with you. Don't worry about that. You do what you know what is best for you. Okay? That's what you do. So I'm going to see you all on Thursday. Because you know I don't come on live on Wednesdays. So I'll see you all on Thursday. And then we'll finish out the week. But you be strengthened. Don't let people come in there and put their garbage in your mind. And you don't have to always say it out loud, but you can say it to yourself. Oh, that's dead on arrival. And what I'm about to say before I leave, how somebody else feel about you, that ain't none of your business. Okay? Now go on about your business. Have a wonderful day. See you guys Thursday. Bye-bye.